Hello and welcome back to Namaste Y'all with Dr. B. I'm your host, and today's topic is about dating after divorce. Yes, one of my least favorite things to talk about. However, once a season, we have to just go down through there because dating is just a big part of life. And so today, I had to bring on a very special guest to dive in here to this conversation with me because, this is a friend who I've had the privilege with walking through this dating after divorce journey with. And so if you would please help me to welcome Dr. Micaela Herndon, and I'm going to let her introduce herself and tell you a little bit about who she is and what she does.
Hey, y'all. Thank you. So I'm Micaela Herndon. I am a storyteller, national speaker, in all things involvement of student success. I have been involved in so many things the last 15 years as I've grown my career and evolved into who I am. But I think one of the biggest things is as I've turned 40, I'm actually thinking about what's next for me. So I think, the beautiful part of life is sometimes we get into these modes where we think we have to do the same thing forever. But, once you're good at something and you're ready to move on, like that's okay too. So I'm kind of in that season right now.
I love that for you. Okay, now if you don't know, the doctor is all, about her professional rundown. But the flip side about that I love is that when you have friends that are like professionally esteemed and degreed and all of these things, on the back end of this experience, you still know that when it comes to things like dating and your interpersonal relationships and things, like we are all more connected than not. You know what I mean? It's like, so we have this professional thing that we could do, me and Micaela, where it's like, on the statistics, data, and then it's this flip side was like, child, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Ooh, and so this is my voice note friend. I just want y'all to know, because like I have friends that be like, don't send me no voice notes. And then I have this friend who that's all we send.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever have a phone conversation.
No, because I'm a voice note people down.
We gonna send, it's gonna be a whole podcast episode worth of voice notes.
It is
to give updates, but it works for us.
It does.
Like here we are. So I'm glad to have you here because we've been on this journey, and I think it's a beautiful thing. So I'm gonna start with a couple of statistics. So okay, according to statistics, about 2 in 3 divorced adults eventually decide to remarry, and marrying later in life is associated with greater marital stability, right? So I think those things are important because the way the conversations go, a lot of these clickbait kind of podcasters, I feel like, would have people think like the institution of marriage is dead. Millennials don't care anymore. Oh, people are having less babies. Oh, like all of these things where I feel like it's almost fear mongering. And this platform is really dedicated to how we lift conversations that value love over fear and our egos. Whereas that's not as popular as like people saying like, well, are you going 50-50? Or we can spin that. Like all these conversations happening. And so I feel like it's important for us to hold space to have real conversations about, hey, y'all, like love is still real. People are still out here, and black love is still a thing. And like everybody ain't out here trying to manipulate, use each other, and have transactional whatever. So we're going to dive down through there because today's conversation is about dating after divorce, but it's really about hope. It's about becoming the kind of person who can recognize healthy love when it comes and still hold space in your heart for that. So I think the dating process kind of puts some people in a place where they like, it's like whiplash. Like, whoa, you people are crazy out here.
Get kicked in the face regularly in the dating scene.
Let me go back home. And find my peace, right? So let's start with the first part about becoming single again, right? Because this is about dating after divorce. This ain't for the 20s and the 30s who ain't never like, we've been down through there, friend. So once you have committed yourself and vowed to be with this person, and that dream does not pan out the way that you thought it would, right? Walk me through a little bit about like your identity, like after being a wife and all of that, and what that looked like in terms of healing before you could even try to date, and like what that looked like for you.
Yeah, so I think for me, when you step out of, the first thing you're trying to do is figure out all of the parts of you may have lost. And I think one of the things that I struggled with most was that I didn't truly know who I was before I even got married. So I was searching for a person that I didn't truly know anyway. So after you grieve this idea of this social media ability to be able to be likable and couple goals and realize like that's not going to happen, you now have this societal guilt because now, especially if you identify with anything in a church, like, oh, you're supposed to stick through it. You're supposed to sacrifice. You're supposed to pray and do all of these other things. You like, God didn't tell me to entertain all of that. Now you got me entertaining things I was never even supposed to entertain. So coming out of that, I really had to take a step back. I had worked with multiple therapists until I found one who was really aligned with what I wanted to see. But one of the therapists that I worked with, one of the things she told me was, once you're ready to let it all go, that's when you know you're actually done with the relationship. And I was trying to figure out, how can I keep the house, or how can I keep this asset, or how can I keep these things? And she said, once you're willing to let all of that go, you can actually go find who you are, because you're trying to hold on to something. And our stuff really broke up during the pandemic. The pandemic was like, everybody, you stuck in the house.
I think a lot of us had shifts during the pandemic.
You stuck in the house. I'm losing weight because I'm walking 3 miles a day. I just don't want to be in the house. I'm just, I'm doing all the things. And I was listening to a book by Ayanna Van Zandt, and it was called The Value in the Valley. And one of the things she said is you need to identify who you were versus who he was. So then that way you can step away from attaching your identity to a person. Because a lot of times as women, we're taught to adapt and adopt our husband's personality and his values and his name and all of the dreams that he wants. And we don't really think through what we want anymore. So once I really sat down with myself and asked myself, what are the things in the marriage that I didn't like? There were things that I sacrificed or I did that I really didn't like, but I did it because I thought that's what a wife was supposed to do. And then I asked myself, what are the things that I do like that may actually go against what the church has taught me to believe? So it's like all of these things that I'm taught are wrong. You can't talk to multiple people at the same time. You can't go really date. You have to only date for marriage. Once I let all of that go, I was really able to sit down and ask myself, who is the version of Micaela I want to see? Because I feel like at 20 and 25 and 30 and then getting divorced in my mid-30s, I always wanted a version of Micaela to be there instead of being okay with the version of Micaela that was present. So really going through identifying things from my childhood, really thinking through, making the marriage your idol because everybody wants to be married, and pulling all
That's
that away.
another episode about people making idols out of marriage.
Yeah.
It's a real thing.
It is.
It's scary.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
I love that because I feel like me and you both may have experienced what I call the good girl syndrome, where you had these checklists about everything, and we were always like leaders, saying like we weren't in the same space, but I can recall, especially in adulthood, like when we go back and talk about things, like being like, okay, I'm gonna graduate here and do that, and we got these degrees and like and like this career climb. Like I saw somebody say recently on IG, like we was all worried about like climbing these corporate ladders, but they didn't tell us how do we get down from here. Like we up here, can we get back? How do you get down from here? Like I don't want it. Like let me down. So I feel like going through the journey of like doing all these things and achieving and like overachieving, if you will, in some regards, gets you to a place where it's like, no. Like some of these things I took on, I only want, y'all can take this back, this back, this. What's real? And how do I identify what's real? And that's what I hear you saying, like that journey to us discovering, like, even what do I value? Like what's important to Micaela? Who even am I? And then going through that person. But Micaela, the thing that you said that I don't think you even realized you said was you put the time in to do the work. Yeah. And I think there's so many people, like we're moving from this to that, and okay, well I'm done with this, and now I'm gonna go and I'm gonna have a roster, and I'll go this and I'll do that, and distracting ourselves from the work. Yeah, I think it's the most. What's the word that I should the most devastating thing to see. And I'm sure you maybe seen people too, even if you do go through the divorce. Like you're saying, taking time to grieve that is one thing. Grieving that, the death of that, the image, the whatever ideas we had in our head. And then the flip side of that is, and then the rediscovery of who I am, what's important to me. How did I get here? Like I'm a smart girl. Yeah. How did I get here? The math ain't mathing. And then taking time to do that work to uncover, like you said, the things from your childhood. But I used to, Micaela, I would have times where I would be, because in my deepest valley, I would go to therapy once a week, sometimes twice. She don't take insurance, so it's self-pay. The person that I go to. Yeah, where's my camera, Nelly? Here.
Same.
Self-pay. $150 a pop. I was keeping the lights on. Sometimes going 2 times, a week. Whereas I would sacrifice whatever needs to be sacrificed. So then you spend an hour in the session. Then sometimes, Micaela, I come out the session. I need an hour to take a nap.
Yeah, you got to decompress for sure.
I need an hour to journal about what I discussed today and discovered, and do the work of digging that up and like sitting with it and eating on it, and like that work is so deep.
It's hard.
It's hard, Micaela. I'm like, people don't want to do this work. So then when you meet people and you are trying to date again, okay, so we talk about you go through that process, right? You become single, you're doing your work, self-discovery. Okay, Micaela, now shift. Now you ready to start dating again, right? Okay, here we go.
You're back in the streets.
Okay, you're back outside. We're in the streets.
We're in the streets, okay?
The amount of people, I'm going to say man specifically, this is my camera, men specifically, that have not gone down through there to do that kind of work.
Yeah.
To identify, here are the patterns that are problematic. This is where I know they started from. Some people can get there with therapeutic language thanks to IG and videos.
Yeah, for sure.
They can say, okay, I know I am okay, a man tells me, I know I have communication challenges.
Yeah.
The family I grew up in, we're not best communicators. You know, he was maybe taught like, shut up and do what your parents tell you. So I'm not, okay, you identify a pattern. I'm not good at communicating. You identify the root, the origin of the problem. Okay, now, you're 40 years of age. What are we going to do to get from point B to point? Like, what we got to
figure that out.
That's not the end. Like, we can't identify the origins of our issues. And so how does it work then if you've done that kind of work, Micaela? Yeah. When you are trying to date again and you're out here with people in the gym pop that's like, y'all not even trying. Some people, I'm not saying all people aren't trying, but I'm saying the majority of people are not trying to hold space to do the kind of work that we're discussing, that we discuss regularly as friends, trying to elevate and actually evolve as humans. Right. How do you date with that? How?
You know, I think one of the things is when you realize that you're not a general population person, you eliminate general population people quick. And I think that was one of the things early, is that I was trying to make general population people be in a class of standards that I had for myself. But the truth is, they didn't see the value in the standards that I had anyway, because they didn't understand who they were. So I had my list of, these are the things I want. And just because he's a good guy does not mean that he's the right guy for me. So I started going through the list, and I'm going to eliminate quick. Now, at first, I had my whole phase. You know, you're going to get outside. You're going to date. You're going to enjoy yourself.
A freedom season.
Yeah, you're going to get outside.
Let freedom ring.
And I think that's actually important. I think that's important.
Oh, yeah. Mother Oprah. I remember somebody asked Mother Oprah. She was like, well, first you got to go outside, turn up.
Yeah, you got to get outside.
Then come back.
Yeah, you got to get outside. You got to get outside. And I think that's important, because when you come out of, because many of us, I saw a reel the other day, and it said for all of the girls who either waited until they got married or got married young and did everything that your husband thought that you were supposed to do, how is that divorce going?
How is that divorce going?
Because now we're in our 30s and you're now this different person and you've evolved. And I think that was one of the things is many of the people that I interacted with were quickly trying to get married again. People were like, I got to find a person. I got to find my forever. Yeah. And through a lot of the work that I was doing and conversations with my therapist, she was like, just go out here and date so you can learn what you actually enjoy. You can see what you do or do not like about a person. If a person stays too far, I'm not interested. If a person has more than a certain amount of kids, it's a no for me. If a person maybe doesn't have any, so you can start to see what you do and don't like, because you're still subconsciously grading every man that you date against the man you divorced. So even if you didn't like everything about him, that's all you really know. Right. So I think that's one of the things is I started eliminating people quick. I got my list. I experimented. I'd eliminate people for the smallest thing.
Oh my gosh.
It didn't matter what it was. Just because I'm not going to be annoyed the rest of my life.
Don't open my refrigerator again. Block. Look, whatever. I'm saying, I'm laughing at you, but my block list strong. And my friends will be like, Stephanie, was it really? I'm like, y'all not out here. Yeah. Okay? Yeah, so it's easy to say when we was in our 20s. And we started dating. So like a lot of my core friends, like we started dating in college. You were in a different pool. And this is why I always want Ebony Williams to stop talking to people. Ain't that her name? The one that said the bus comment about the man driving the bus and everybody went crazy and tried to cancel her. I want her to stop talking to the general pop, because she's speaking from the perspective of a woman that is very well off, who has, is a manager of people, has created these jobs, and like she has a certain amount of money and privilege that the general population does not have. Right. And so anytime she says that, they be coming for her head, and I be listening like, what did she say that was a lie? Right. And so this last time,
we got assets and liabilities now. I can't put everything on the table with anybody.
They came for her head this last time, and I remember being on the thing, being like, I don't understand what the problem is. But what she basically said was that we need to teach Black girls how to consider college, not just for their own career development and like getting ready for life, but like this is the best time to be dating, to choose a partner, right? She says the college pool, because the kind of man that you're going to encounter when you are here in college is a different pool than when you graduate. You what I call gen pop, when you're back in the gen pop. And some people perceive that to be elitist. Like you're trying to say, oh, college educated people are better. And I'm like, no, if you've gone through this role, what you understand now, because my first husband did not have a college degree, right? But our shared values, we met at church. Our shared values had to do with where we were in that season. But if you think about what the college educated, especially for a Black man, what was required, you're going to align on values. We know the amount of persistence that's required for us to get in those rooms, how you have to navigate institutions, your institutional awareness, how you have to, like what those values,
all that matters,
that it took for them to be there was why it made the pool better. But other groups of people understood that before they went to college.
Right.
We didn't get that. Like as Black girls, we were going to, we were still listening, but Boosie tell us INDEP. We was out there. She got her own house. She got, girl, them people was up there getting a husband at the University of Houston. Yeah. And them Chi Omega sororities and Chi Delta Deltas.
That's what they said they was coming to college to do.
Baby, majoring in basket weaving and husbandry.
Yeah, getting them somebody.
And we did. So when she said that, people came for her. Like, girl, it's good man, all of it. And it's like, it's not that it's not. But you just have to understand, like, the mindset about partnership was a lot different for us than them. So in dating, what I hear you saying is what a lot of them did. Like, they were free to date and, explore. And, like, it was okay. But for us, it was like, for me in college, it was like wifey. It's like you date somebody, you locked in with them. And you just like, you're not exploring and dating and, like, considering what do I like and what I... Child. They was out here like, okay, so, but it got to a certain point in your dating where I'm going to use the term, your season of disillusionment, where Micaela was like, I'm just done. Like, I've gone to all the, because I'm the Pollyann, right, y'all? So I'll be the one like, but there's, so many good people. And like, you just have to, sometimes you need to just, she'd be like, I've gone to all the networking events. I've gone to the brunches. I've gone to this. I've gone to that. I've just been talking to my therapist about the fact that, look, I might just be alone because these people are just, and I would be like, now, Micaela, woo. Talk to me about your season of disillusionment.
I think that came out of just the disappointment of not even finding, and you know what, let me say this. I found a few good people along the way. The problem is, I think that when it comes to the dating pool, is that women are very much self-aware of when they should or should not be dating, whether they're busy or they have things going on or you locked in with your kids, whatever it may be. But I feel like men don't take themselves out of the dating pool. Like, regardless of where they are, they're always dating.
So good.
So when they come in with intentions, you're meeting a person who knows that they shouldn't be in the pool and they selling you dreams while you're coming in with honest heart, genuine connection. Like, that's what you want to do. And I think for me, I was meeting a lot of people who just were not playing fair, right? You ask them, are they married? They say no. You go look it up, they married. You ask, hey, are they separated or what you got going on? They're like, oh, we've been separated for 15 years. And it's all of these stories. And I think after I made a connection with a person that I really, really liked, and then something started shifting in that connection, I thought things were going well, and that person started projecting and having all of these issues, and I started to have these dreams. And the dreams were telling me that he wasn't being honest. So when I asked him a few questions, it was almost like it was thrown back on me. And I remember saying that I know who I am and I know the value that I bring to any relationship and I know that I'm worthy of great things. You're not going to make me question that. So I wish you the best and I hope all things go well. And then like a month later, I find out that he's actually still married. This whole divorce that he claimed to have gotten didn't happen. And for me, it was just like, man, that person acted so well. They played their part so well. And after that, I was like, I'm good. I'm good on y'all.
Yeah,
I'm taking a break.
I love though how you frame that in terms of they will not remove themselves. And what I had to learn, because it was a new experience for me, is that there are men who will, I think to your point, they don't remove themselves because the objective is to see how much can I get. And then like how little do I have to give to get it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think I've been surprised to learn And almost I feel sorry for some people because I think because of their experiences, and I know because of their own traumas that they've experienced and their own experience, blah, 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 all the reasons why.
Yeah.
You're trying to settle for getting this much. When I know, like, oh, baby, like, that's all you got the capacity for, because she could prepare a buffet.
Mm-hmm.
And you over here just looking for hot fries.
Yeah.
Bless your little heart.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think I started to experience that, like, people that think they could breadcrumb you or, like, give a little bit and, like, see what, it's like, oh, no.
Yeah.
But I've been learning there's women out here in the
That will
dating
take
pool
Yeah.
that love to have the breadcrumbs. And so it's like, oh. Because in my mind, I thought, oh, well, surely nobody, baby, you're going to be by yourself. Ain't nobody going to. And my friends have helped me understand, yes, yes, they are. There are some people, they can just hit them up and say, what you doing? And they going to get up out their bed and come to him. I said,
Look,
oh, okay. Well,
Look.
this is where we are.
like I tell the people, you can do that with her and she, but you're not going to do that with me.
Not with me.
Not with me. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's not going to
Not
happen.
going to
But
happen.
I love that. So I think it's important, though, because I know a lot of women get disillusioned, and especially if they've been dating a long time. I think the pivot for me, though, in dating after divorce is like, I've already done the thing where I had the society's perception of success, and then I had to lay that down, find the authentic thing that we're discussing here, and then decide, like, okay, the next time I do this, so you said you made a list, so let's help the people now listening.
Yeah.
Last year in November, I had to make a list.
Yeah.
Now, I was doing this book called Calling in the One, and she said, make a list. But then I was in the therapy session, and my therapist said, have you made a list? And I was like, y'all, nobody, listen, God knows. This is my camera. God knows what it is I desire, and I'll know it when I see it. And she was like, make the list, right? And so then the recommendation was a list of 100 things. And I said, I ain't got 100 things. And in the book, she literally said, if you consider you want to partner with somebody for the rest of your life, and you couldn't think of 100 things. And so I think this might be the first time I'm saying this publicly, that I made a list of 100 things. But I did a little bit at a time, like what I knew off top. But then, like, I would watch something like a show or a movie, or I would talk to someone, or I would try to date. So I say try. I don't even be trying to act like I might try to date someone. And then they may have some characteristics that I add, or some characteristics that I add the opposite of, because I'd be like, oh, yeah, no. And then I ended up getting to 100 things, Micaela, like in November of last year. And then I had this list that, to your point, and not the frivolous things. I think we need to qualify that. Because some people would be like, he needs to be 6'6". He needs to make X amount of money. And it was like some of those things. Like, I'm more concerned about, like, is generous of spirit as opposed to makes. Because somebody can make millions of dollars and not be generous. And you might as well be with somebody that have nothing. Yeah. Because they're not finna. It's not generous. Yeah. Okay. And so I think having those kind of things down did help me. So then when I encounter somebody that's like hardcore against one of them things on that list, it's like, it was nice to have met you. Yeah. But these things are the things that are important in terms of a partnership. And so I think that list is important. And I would want to challenge somebody watching today, especially if they're dating after divorce. Like, because some of those things, your ex had some things that you may want to see in a partner. And then maybe there's somebody else, that you've experienced before. And you just think back on, like, what were those good traits? No person is the owner or the generator of those traits that you saw that you love. So you don't have to think about, oh, if I had that person again. No, like, what were the traits? And God made more people with those traits, you know what I'm saying, and called those forward. So how did you go? That's how I went about making my list. How did you make your list? You just went for it.
The crazy part is my list started in 2021.
Oh, wow.
So my list is
it's more than 100 things on your list.
It's not more than 100 things, but it's quite a few things. Okay. So the first thing I did with my list is I wrote down, because one of the things that I learned is that from every dating experience, take the good, leave the bad. Now, you don't forget the bad, because when they circle back around, you need to remember the reason why you let them go. Yeah. So you ain't gonna let them circle back. But I would take the things that I liked out of every situation, and I would just note it down. I really like this part. I really like this. And then I started to distinguish, like, what are my hard deal breakers? Like, you can't do this stuff. And what are the things where I like those things, but if I don't have them, it's okay. So, like, for example, we always talk about height. I would prefer for him to be taller, but I've definitely dated some short kings. You know what I mean?
Short kings.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I would go in and establish, and if they went against the deal breakers, boom, you done. Like there's no point, because that means that I'm going back to what I was doing before, where I'm now conforming myself to someone else instead of. And one of the people that I dated actually said something that I thought was like really good. He said, we're at the age where we need to stop trying to conform people into who we want them to be and start dating people that we actually like them for who they are. Like, this is who you are. I'm cool with that. Let's move forward. Not, he got this, but girl, let me change this around, because it doesn't work. Yeah. And I think that's why the list helped me, because I was holding myself accountable. Not so much like I'm making everybody fit the list, but if I know that I really don't like people, and every time I would go against my list, it didn't work.
Oh, you trying to negotiate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You
like,
trying to negotiate.
maybe.
You be like, well, maybe this and this and that. And then you be like,
it was on the list. It was number 3.
I knew it.
It was number 3 on the list.
I knew it. But you know what? I feel like women are more likely, because of the way we're socialized, to compromise on those things. I feel like men are more likely to be like, no, because like whatever they have on their list, and it might not be a physical list, it might be a mental list, but they're more likely to be like on whatever their deal breakers are, and women are more likely to be like, but and I think if you've already gone through the part of your journey where you forsook yourself, it really comes down to betraying yourself on whatever the things were. And you saw now, as a result of forsaking myself, betraying myself, putting down my own knees, squashing myself in this way, you see what the end result of that is. You are less likely the second time to be like, oh, well, I'll just compromise. No. Yeah. That's why my Earth the Kit video, every time it resurfaces, baby, I always share the compromise.
What?
She left it there, man. What? Compromise? What would I compromise? No. Especially, though, to your point, when you get very sure of what you have to offer. I am very sure, baby, that I'm going to multiply everything about your life if I get caught up in this. Yeah. And so I have to be very careful how I interact, because when I interact, when I have an open heart, it's open. It's open. And you're going to reap all the benefits. So of course a man would need to be generous if he's going to do me, because I am generous. And anybody that knows me will tell you how much I give, and it's a part of my life. So what I look like being with somebody being with somebody that can't lead? I'm a leader. I wish to be led. Yeah. And that's what people, I think, have wrong about women like us. They're like, oh, this person has a degree. She did that. She going to try to be an alpha. Why? Why would I go to work and have to lead, and then or go in my business and have to lead, and then come? I would not want. We be the biggest. I think we could be the biggest babies with the right person.
Oh, for sure.
With masculine energy.
Yeah, it has to be. And I think masculine energy for a lot of men is not even something that they practice. And one of the things I was talking about with some coworkers yesterday is how we really need to bring back shaming individuals. Because
let's
bring back shame. Because when your homeboy is not being the man that he needs to be, call him out. And if your homegirl is not being who she needs to be, call her out.
Accountability.
But come back to and that's what allows people to correct. Because a lot of these men, they go scot-free, they humble, doing whatever, and they just like, oh, that's just who he is. No, it's really not. So we really need to be bringing back shame. Like, you should feel ashamed how you acting out here and treating these women.
Are you not ashamed?
You should feel ashamed. You should feel ashamed.
Y'all, shame is a loss. We need shame back.
We gotta bring it back.
Because I was just even recently, the person that I attempted to try to shoot his shot to date me. That's all I can call it. I can't even call it was dating. This man said some things. I was talking, and he wasn't talking about me. He was just telling me about some things about how he would treat other women. And I think what I was supposed to feel was gratitude. I think he was trying to show me like, hey, like, I'm trying to plan a date. I'm trying to do this and this with you. With these, I would do this, this, and this, and I would just do this. And he was telling me how he would treat another woman. Yeah. As if I should feel gratitude for you planning a date or being communicative with me. Yeah. When in reality, I'm like, why don't you feel shame for the fact that you would treat a woman that way anyway? Like the way he was describing it, like utter disrespect. I can't even say on here, on my platform, the things he said he would do to, or had done to a woman based on how
you telling people.
Where is shame?
We got to bring shame back.
Okay, so I'm just going to leave that at that. It's say, okay, so then you get back into dating, right? After we've healed, we get back into dating. We worked our way through. You're going to experience, is what people need to know. You might experience disillusionment as you're meeting people, because especially if you're a lover girl,
Yeah.
You open your heart. Something doesn't work out. You have to go back home. I call it going back into hibernation. Get refocus, recalibrate, kind of detox from that person. Then you try it again. And you're like, at some point, especially if it's years, you may feel that disillusionment. I just want to encourage somebody that that's a natural part of the process. But when you are committed to knowing like your value and your worth, you will have to go through that process of letting people go and knowing that ain't nothing you can do to heal and fix them folks. It ain't your business to heal and fix them folks. It's your business to know these are the things that are important to me and I'm committed to that. Okay, so that when you do find somebody, so let's fast forward because Micaela's at a part of her journey that I have not made it to yet. And funny. I will one of these seasons, but until then, I brought on a friend of mine who has worked her way through the disillusionment season and actually met someone who, we're going to call it green flag, right? Because we talk about enough red flags. So tell me a little bit about how you knew the person that you're currently dating was different, maybe anything related to green flags, first impressions that made you think like, okay, hold on, this might be something worth opening my heart to again. Because I think that's the biggest part. We joke and jest and people call whatever. Yeah. But that's really what it's about, is having the courage to open your heart again. Tell somebody your dreams and your vulnerabilities and all of that again. Tell me about it, friend.
Yeah, so I think coming out of the disillusionment phase, like one of the things is that phase feels very much like a grief process. Like from divorce, like if you go through all of the stages of grief, that's what dating kind of feels like. And I think coming out of that, I really had to have a conversation with myself that the reason why I didn't want to date again was because I wasn't being honest, that I didn't trust myself as much as I thought I did, because I had made so many concessions in dating. And once I got to the point where I'm like, no, I'm not doing it anymore. This is my list. I'm sticking to my list. Even if that means for the next 5 years, I'll be by myself, so be it. But that doesn't mean I'm not doing anything, right? I'm still out here enjoying life. I'm still making memories. I'm still making connections. So I was literally just living my life. I wasn't on any dating apps. I wasn't really outside.
Oh, we didn't even go down them dating apps.
Yeah.
Friend used to be in them dating apps.
Just a little bit. So I wasn't on anything, and I was literally just minding my business. Now, one of the things that I often hear is that you should not give people your number out in the wild, right? If you're at the gas station, if it's really low-hanging fruit, people say that you shouldn't do that. I don't totally agree with that premise, as long as the environment is like curated.
I never heard that before.
Yeah, like they'll say like, don't give your number out in the wild. It's low-hanging fruit. Now, if I'm at like an event or I'm at, then I'm like, okay, now if I'm in the hood at the gas station, probably not, right? Probably not. But if I'm out at an event and it's like, okay, this makes sense, I'll do it. And that's basically what happened. I was minding my business. This person had seen me for about a week. And I was on my computer working. We were at something. Minding my business. Yeah, minding my business. We were at something for our children. And this person saw me. I didn't notice that person because typically when I'm at family stuff, I assume every man has a wife. Child. All the dads got a mom attached to them. So I was minding my business. I think he said he saw me 1 week and then like a week and a half went by and he was trying to wait until he had an opportunity to speak to me, not in this big crowd of people. We were doing something at a cheer thing and he just came up and was like, hey, this is my name. How are you doing? I would love to get to know you.
Excuse me, miss.
Yes.
What's your name?
Can I get your number? And I was like, give me your number and I'll shoot you a text. So I did. And then it didn't take him 3 days to hit me back. It was literally like, once the event was over, he was like, hi, this is my number.
Very good.
Make sure you have me saved. And then he immediately said, are you free to talk in a few hours?
Here we are.
And I was like, okay. So the first green flag was that the communication was different.
We're not going to play games.
Yeah, there was no, I could talk to you on Tuesday or anything like that. It was literally, hey, it's a Friday. I would love to talk to you. I do have to work tonight because I own my own company. This is what this looks like. Okay, great. And we talked pretty much that whole night. See. The next day, it wasn't we got off the phone. I got to phone him first. I got to wait to text. It wasn't that.
See, and who has time for that?
Yeah.
And who has time for that? When I did try to date one person, since I've been divorced, I was like, listen, I know what we see on Instagram. I know what people say. I'm just gonna be very honest with you. I am not gonna do it. And if expecting regular communication or like whatever, if you text me and I'm by my phone, I'm gonna text you back. Like I'm not doing this thing where it's like, oh, make a way to make them text you 3 times. Like y'all are all weird.
It's too much.
Who has time for that? So it was authentic communication. That's green flagging up front. It was consistent. Okay.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that I found different was like the energy around the consistency. Like that person was who they said they were. So if they said we going out on a date at this day at this time and I'm picking you up, that's what it was. If we're gonna do this, that's what it was. And then also there were solutions offering to like help.
As you should.
Yes, not like, oh, I'm gonna give you money to do this, but if I presented something like, oh, I got this going on, I gotta figure out what's going on in my grass. It was like, oh, I got a lawnmower, like I'll come over there and cut it.
And should.
And I was like, oh, okay. And then, so it was
making yourself useful. A man of utility.
Solutions.
See, we need solutions. We got plenty of problems.
Yeah.
We need solutions. And a lot of people think about when you say generous, when I just heard you say that, I thought generous. Mm-hmm. Because people think generosity is about money. Tell them, send me a cash app. Tell them, and everybody likes to reduce each other to just be frivolous. Yeah. But generosity is about, I see you have a concern and I insert myself. And some people think that has to do with like, well, if we on a certain level, then no, just as a human. Mm-hmm. Just as a human coming into somebody's orbit, coming in their space, just assessing. And you can never lose or miss out on your blessing by blessing somebody else. Exactly. Even if he only end up being in your life for, let's say, 2 months. Mm-hmm. Him coming to cut that grass, that ain't took none off your life to come over here and bless somebody. Even if it didn't end up being like, dang, now I went over to cut her grass and I ain't even get nothing out of it. What's she gonna give me? And there's so much of that going on that I feel like it makes people less likely to want to be generous and want to show up just as a good humans for each other. I'd be like, what's wrong with y'all?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. I'm not where she is yet, as you can see. I'm still trying. I'm over here in my hallelujah, amen era. Yeah. So go ahead, friend.
It was good. And I think the consistency, I think the communication, I think the intention. He was very intentional about what he wanted from the beginning. So I think one of our first conversations within the first 2 weeks, like we sat down over lunch and he was like, these are my intentions. This is what I'm looking for.
It's grown.
These are my desires. What do you desire? And, I was still kind of in a place where like I didn't know if I wanted to be married again or if it had to be a long-term commitment or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. But when I presented what I wanted and how I was dating, he didn't attempt to change how I was dating either. So I told him, I said, look, I'm gonna be honest, I have a roster of people. These are the people that I'm connecting with.
I have a roster of people.
Right. And I told him, this is not may the best man win. It's really who aligns most with the values.
It is may the best man win. Huh? Who should win? The worst man?
Not the we don't want the worst.
Who should win?
We don't want the worst.
If you the prize, who should win?
Yeah. So and he didn't try to change that. I told him, I said, are you comfortable with that? He said, yes. He said, but I'm going to be honest. I don't believe in really talking because he's older, right? So I don't want to talk to a whole bunch of different women. I want to energetically pour into one. And I think after we talked for like 2 to 3 weeks, I had to let the roster know, like, hey, appreciate y'all.
Because
wishing you the best in the off season.
Nobody has time. And this is why I say the time, energy, effort, and resources. There are some men that I feel like, even if you have intentions of you do want to marry, you do want to do something intentional. The fact that you're trying to divide your time, energy, effort, or resources amongst multiple women, first of all, they don't have that many resources, a lot of them.
That's true.
You're not rich enough to do what you're trying to do,
It's expensive today.
You don't even have enough money. So by the time you think you finna just sprinkle one date over here and one date over there, you could have like actually made an actual effort towards investing your time, energy, effort, and resources. Ladies, time, energy, effort, and resources. That's what we're looking for. Mm-hmm. So everything, when I hear any of my friends meet somebody or whatever, these are the things I'm assessing. Is he investing his time, energy, effort, and resources into my friend? And that's the only reason why we call a good or bad or worthy or not. And so when I hear you as my friend, it makes me excited for you. Yeah, when you come on the voice note and you tell me like this or this or this happened, I'm like, okay, now I'm sitting up straight. Like, say more, friend. Because this is what I know is required to invest into you, his time, energy, effort, and resources, as a means to improve your life, improve what you got, your program. You already got a program going, and you got your kids, and you got their stuff, and you got work and all these things in your business. And then to hear somebody that's going to come invest in your program, because we already know you're going to invest in his program and improve his life. We already know that. That's what women do. Yeah. Healthy women that are healed. Mm-hmm. And so then I already know there's going to be a cycle. And so I love to hear that. But also I love to hear that he was the one mindful of, as a man, unless you ain't got no job or you're very poor and you sit around, you don't have time to be in constant communication. That authentic communication he was giving you, that mindfulness to plan and take you out. Ain't nobody got time to be doing that with 3 and 4 women. Hell,
that's a lot. Yeah. He was very direct about that, and I think that was the difference. Is that when I would meet people and I would ask them, like. It's almost like I had to lead the conversation. Well, what do you want next? And what do you, and I was like, oh, well, I think I want to be in a relationship, or yeah, of course I want those things. And it was different. Like he was the one setting, like, what are you looking for? Because this is what I'm looking for. Does this match what you're trying to do? Yeah. And it wasn't drama and all that attached to it. It was very safe. I think that was one of the things. Like it felt very calm. You used to when you talking to you dating all these ups and downs, but it was almost like my nervous system was regulated. Like, oh, this feels.
That feel like boredom to people. You know that, right?
Yeah, it is. To some people, it is definitely boredom. Now, I will say it was uncomfortable at first because a part of me was waiting for the ball to drop. Like, oh, something got to come. I'm waiting on something.
Where that ex-wife at?
Yeah, something crazy gonna happen. But I do think that for a man that has his stuff together and is ready, they're not going to be in a general population pool. So you're not going to always catch them outside everywhere. You're not going to catch them all on social media, on the dating apps and doing all of that. They're going to work and they're going home and they take care of their children if they have them. But I do think that it is harder to find those people. But eventually, if you're in a right heel space, you're going to start attracting people. And it's been different. It's nice to experience the difference.
Look at her smiling.
It's
zoom
nice.
in on her face. Yeah. Look at her grinning and stuff.
It's nice to experience.
And I'm gonna tell you, I love this for you too because I remember when you had to listen, I would be like, friend, you just never know where. I've been to the brunches, I've been to the network, it's Tiffany, I've been to da. And I was just like, friend, when it's the right time, it'll just be.
Yeah.
Y'all used to be a cheerleader if you can't tell. Like when I was in school, I used to be like, just hang in there, clap,
I was
clap,
done.
clap, because you're such a great person. Like,
it's a no for me.
You're so great. It'll be somebody.
Yeah. New voice memos were dark at some point.
It was very dark.
Like,
but I pray
I'm
for
done.
you. I pray for you because I'm
and I needed that.
It's out there. So, okay, the last thing we're going to cover before we end today, this book right here that I have in the middle of us is called Committed, and it's by Elizabeth Gilbert. Now, this was the lady that wrote Eat, Pray, Love, and this was the second book. And in this book, I felt like this is one of the pillar books that I read when I was going through my healing journey. She really breaks down the institution of marriage, right? And so in the basis of this book, her and the guy that she had met at the end of Eat, Pray, Love, they have both decided, like they had both been divorced. They both decided, I would not marry again. I wouldn't do that to you. Let's love each other. And they engaged in the spiritual partnership. And so she kind of goes back here and talks about the history of marriage, which was good for me because I had never read about how the church created marriage, when it was invented, how long marriages usually lasted because people died a lot sooner then, and like why it was created. It's a man-made institution, right? And so when you think about things like that in a more deep and spiritual way, for me, I like to say now that I am more concerned in when I think about moving forward. About the idea of spiritual partnership. And if this is a new concept to you, I want to read the definition. So I'm no longer interested in like marriage for marriage's sake. I did that part already. Check the boxes. I'm actually looking to develop a spiritual partnership. So here's the definition. A spiritual partnership is a relationship between equals where both people are intentionally supporting one another's spiritual growth. Rather than seeking security or control or validation, they use their life experiences, including conflicts, to become more loving, authentic, and aligned to who they are created to be, right? And so the idea of a spiritual partnership is that it lasts as long as the two people are growing together. And so they could be 6 months, that could be 60 years, or a lifetime. I think one of the couples that comes top of mind is always like Oprah and Stedman for me when I think about this, when she talks, if you ever hear her talk about it, like this person that is this pillar in her life, but also her life is not built on and around him. And then people kind of like poo-poo Stedman, but when I looked Stedman up, I realized like he was a lawyer.
He was
like
doing his thing.
Stedman is his own thing. And so I feel like you would have to be a Stedman to be able to be with Oprah. And so then some people decide within a spiritual partnership to take on the institution of marriage and do that, part as well. And then for the people that don't, though, I don't think it takes away from their spiritual partnership at all. And so I think now I'm in a space where I'm thinking more so about like, that's the part that I think is missing with a lot of people. We know people that might be married, hella miserable, don't like each other. They are not aiding each other in their own individual or joint spiritual growth in any ways towards their seeing their purpose realized on earth, doing those things that I think we're called to do. But because they said they would be married and what they believe about the institution of it, they're just there together and going down through there. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, at this point in my journey, I am not even interested in ever doing that again.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just wanted to share that in this episode. I'm interested to know your thoughts, though, about that. Like, what comes up for you when you hear me? Because, I know some people think about when I talk about stuff, it's kind of foo-foo-foo.
Yeah, I think, so after getting divorced, I started to really explore, like, what form of partnership do I want? And I do think that the spiritual partnership is my default. If a person that I'm with would like to get married, I'm open to that conversation. I'm open to that commitment. But I think marriages would actually last a lot longer if we made a spiritual commitment first. Because a lot of marriages are just the institution of it, just to say I got the paper and I can change my last name. But the work that is required to continue to spiritually grow means that I have to be committed to growing myself. And I also have to put in the work to grow this partnership. And I think that's one of the things that I found that I wanted is I don't want to just be married for married's sake, because, and I also don't believe that you got to be married the rest of your life either. Like, you have choices, you have free will. This ain't working. I'm not doing for richer or for poor. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing and sickness. Now, if we together and you sick and we grow, cool. But if the sickness is self-induced, like you're not taking care of yourself, you smoking and drinking and doing all of this,
that would be part of your spiritual growth.
Yeah, you creating certain addictions. Like we got to have conversations. Like I'm not. This ain't ride or die. We don't do that over here. Like,
in my vows, I never said that. I wrote my own vows. I had never said that in my vows. No way.
Yeah. So I'm all for being spiritually aligned with an individual because I think that's what works best. And that's what I've seen in my current situation as well. Like we have really had conversations about what does this look like for you? If it is a marriage, cool. But this is what I require for it to continue to grow.
Yeah, friend, because I'm trying to think about, what that mutual healthy growth looks like. And I feel like for some people, we big 40 now. So Micaela's just doing the 40s club recently. Welcome.
I'm here.
You know what I'm saying? And so I think now we're not in that place. Like when you got married in your 20s, I think you discuss some things with a person and there's potential and we're seeing, are we going to reach the potential? Are we going to do the things we discuss? I think when you get to middle 30s like us, when we both went through the divorce process, you're seeing that those dreams and those things you discussed and the ideas did not come to fruition. So now you're 40 and you're saying, okay, with a person that we meet in our 40s, one, I like to share them statistics at the beginning because I like to share hopeful statistics. Yeah. That if you do this when you're older and more mature, it's more likely to be a more stable thing moving forward. But I think it's because now you can look and see, like, when I meet somebody, one of the things on my list is that you already have your own practice for mental wellness. Yeah. So then, like this last dude that wanted to date me, when I say, so do you have a therapist? And the man tells me, like, puts an X on the message. Yeah. And then he responds like, he has a group of guys that he meets with, however, so often it's the brotherhood. Like I have my brotherhood and I have like, people that he listens to online, like lectures and stuff. And that's my therapy. And it's like, well, no, that's not therapy. Because like, and the thing that gets me, friend, and I want Black men to be delivered. And I think it's happening in little waves. You got people working in this space. But if you fell down and broke your leg, you would go to a medical professional.
You're not going to the brotherhood.
You wouldn't say, I'm going to my brotherhood today with my dangling leg to get healed because they are here to support me. No, like you wouldn't say that. And so the fact that people take their mental health and think they can export it to non-professional friends of like-mindedness is radical to me. Yeah. But I feel like it's just like at this point, what can you do if we're going to offer something to somebody listening? What is it within your sphere of control that you can do to try to see if you even can align with somebody and to know if they would even be a good candidate for a spiritual partnership? Because all you know today is what you know today. And you can't predict what will happen in the future. But what are some good indicators they should be maybe considering if this is important to them as well.
Yeah, I do think one is if you've done the work and you've kind of healed on your own, whether you've gone to therapy or, used books or whatever it may be, or held yourself accountable to the God that you serve, I think it's really important that one, you start looking for, hey, is this person consistent? Are they authentic to who they say that they're going to be? Are they a person of their word? And then start to kind of mix in some of the personality things, like, what does arguing look like? Do they believe in conflict resolution? Are they angry? Are they yelling? Also listen to, one of the things that I didn't do when I was married is, what does their family dynamic look like? That's really important.
Ma'am, another episode for that, because them people with them mama wounds, I'd be like, get them people away from me, man. Them people with the mama wounds is different kind of men out here. Duck, cover, and hide your heart.
Because they go, look, and that's why I said you got to ask about them family dynamics, because I experienced that in my first marriage. It was not, I didn't know what questions to ask. So now as you're older, you should know what questions to ask. And if you don't, go seek help. Like, either go to a therapist, ask a friend, look at ChatGPT, whatever it may be. What questions should I be asking? And that's one of the things that I will say. When I was getting divorced, I had a therapist. She was an older individual, had to be in her 60s. And she gave me 50 questions to ask a person
50
who you're pursuing partnership with.
Sheesh, a lot of questions.
And she didn't say you don't ask them immediately, but you start asking them through conversations. Right. And she said it'll give you an indicator of this quality of this person and what they look like. But I do think that we have to understand that building with someone takes practice, right? It takes, connecting and trying. And if it doesn't work, don't keep forcing, that circle into that square peg, but keep moving forward with the next person and figuring out, okay, I do like this, I don't like this, but don't stay too long. And that's what happens for many of us. We lose time trying to find a person that we want because we're staying too long trying to make a person into something they're not.
What they call it, the sunk time fallacy or something like that, where they say we always be like, well, all right, I don't want to waste time. No. We're not there anymore. Yeah. And I think that is a skill that has to be learned. And so that's what I would offer, a final parting thought to anybody watching, especially women, because we have been socialized a lot of times to just kind of if you're dating, especially after divorce. Now, this is good for the girlies that, haven't been divorced, but still, if you're dating after divorce, I want you to reshape how you think about time, because I like to say I'm a quick study. Mm-hmm. And that's what I hear you sharing, Micaela, is that I'm a quick study. And when I'm out here and I know I'm going to lean in with an open heart, and I know I'm generous, and I know I'm caretaking and nurturing. What I heard somebody say that made a lot of sense for me as I moved toward dating it was a lady on IG. She said, when women experience a man that does things and makes them feel good, they attribute it to the man. Like, he's such a great guy. He's such a great guy. When men experience a woman that's good to them, they attribute it to themselves. Well, I'm so great. She's good to me because I'm great. It's an ego boost for them. And so once I started to see some evidence of that with some people around me, I was with some guys, I was like, oh, like, me being good to you has made you think that something about yourself over here. But baby, I'm just this way. I'm just this way. Like, my line sisters was just here a couple weeks ago. I opened my house. But when we got up on a Sunday morning, I cooked them breakfast. We watched church together. We went up to the rooftop. We ate. Like, I am a Black Martha Stewart. This is who I am. So if you're a man that encounters that, you might think, oh, I'm so great. She made a breakfast for me, or she like whatever might happen in your head. And it's like, no, a person that is nurturing and kind and giving would just be nurturing, kind, and giving. And so I would offer to them, evacuate, eject, abort mission. When you see somebody, instead of thinking like we do, like, oh, well, his mom did, and so I should. It's not your business. It's not your work, and you can't fix grown-ups. And so the quicker you realize, and then for me, I can eject graciously. And a lot of men aren't used to that. They're used to somebody cussing them out and being explosive. I could be like, it just seems like we're not in alignment on this season. I'm looking to do something a little more intentional, and it seems like you want to do something more casual. And so, like, hey, I'm just going to, like, focus on some other things in this season. Yeah. And then walk away.
And be gone.
And it's okay.
Because I'm not a savior, okay?
I can't fix you.
I'm not a savior.
No, only Jesus in therapy. So, anywho, if the people want to connect with you further, because I've appreciated your your insights today. Yeah. So, Micaela also is a national speaker. She does amazing work and has a fantastic website. I love your website. It's so beautiful.
Thank you.
Aesthetically pleasing. Where can the people find you and connect with you?
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram at drmicaela.herndon. Or you can find me on my website, which is www.micaelaherndon.com. Or they can follow me on my Substack, Girl Same.
Yes.
And that's substack.com/something at Dr. Micaela.
Yes. And I will link all of those below.
Yeah.
So they can click on them and find you. I love the Substack. I love how you put it like together. It's always something very catchy. And I'm like, yes, sis, yes.
Yeah, I love
And
the
so
Substack.
Micaela's a great writer. You know, so
Thank
you're a really
you.
great writer. Yes. As I flipped it, I'm like, I can see those ELA skills. You know, I used to be an ELAR teacher.
Oh, yeah.
I can see those ELAR skills. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for coming. And
Thank you
thank
for
y'all
having
so
me.
much for listening. If you listen to this part of the episode, my prayer for you is that as you navigate, that you have the courage to keep an open heart, to treat people well, and more importantly, to guard your own heart as you navigate dating after divorce. And keep the hope, y'all, because it ain't never too late for love.
Never.
Until next time, Namaste, y'all. I'm out. What was that, an hour? That was long.